Alright, I've given it some thought. I've been thinking. As a community and as a family, as friends, we're going to have to start a GoFundMe for Megami. We need to raise money to get Megami a W. We have to. We're only 8 episodes in, and he has the most ass whoopings in that 8 episode span that I've ever seen. Please correct me if I'm wrong in the comments. Feel free. We need to get my guy W. He's been taking L's in every fight. Todo took him to Suplex City on some Brock Lesnar shit. And then yet again, we have another episode of Megami getting put through a building structure. Construction workers probably hate his guts. Another good episode, episode 8 of Jujutsu Kaisen. We might as well call this the Todo show. We get introduced to Todo. He's basically a funny macho pervert to me. And apparently Todo loves tall booty. You know what I'm saying? He loves tall women with ass. I can just imagine Todo having an OnlyFans and it's just a library of tall Amazon women with big ass. But I like Todo as a character. He's probably one of my favorites. Of course, underneath the god Gojo. But I like how it's tension, and I'm thinking it's about to be serious, and then out the blue he just asks Megami, "Hey, what type of women are you into?" And the reason why he was asking is he feels that he gets to know somebody, or I'm assuming men. He gets to know men the best by what type of women they're into, and and the fact that Megami gave like a respectful, responsible, adult, and mature answer to the question. Todo immediately says, "You're boring. You don't like ass and titties. You're boring, and I'm about to beat your ass." But to answer Todo's question, from my perspective, the type of women I'm into, skinny, thick, in between, don't matter. As long as they quiet. As long as they quiet and I can hear myself think, we good. But there's nothing wrong with a tall woman with a big ass. It sounds dangerous, but if I'm going to have a beautiful death, I would want it to be from a tall woman with a big ass. Todo really beat this man half to death because he didn't like ass or titties. I'm not saying he right, but I'm not saying he wrong either. But I understand. But I think there's gonna be a lot of like misunderstanding about Todo. Um, I think he's, despite him having like the macho exterior, being very buff. You know how I feel about buff people. And him having all his strength, and he's obviously a great fighter. I think he's very intelligent and smart also. And the reason why I think that is how he interacts with his partner Mai, who is the twin sister of Maki, and she answers to him, and I feel she respects Todo in all aspects, not just because he's physically imposing. And I feel that he's super intelligent because we've seen in whether it's TV or other anime where you may have a strong character who's physically imposing like Todo, but a weaker character leads them, mainly because that weaker character has more intellect than him and is a better leader. I think Todo showed like glimpse of leadership and just smarts. Like I think he's a very smart person, and even when he was fighting Megami, I could just tell just little like subtle movements that he was making and facial expressions. He's very aware and very what's the word I'm looking for? Um, just very calculated, basically. Yeah, he's definitely the total package on some Lex Luger shit. Now Todo on some combat type talk, like he's a great ball of fire. Like believe the hype because the fact that he don't even use any curse techniques below an opponent that's lower than the special grade, that's that's next level. Like not only like confidence, but like just pure physical strength for the fact that he does that. That's And then another thing that makes me think about that too, on that note, is that if he's not using those curse techniques on anybody lower than the special grade curse, that just makes me wonder how powerful his curse techniques are and what type of techniques would they be. And I'm assuming it's something close range since he's a close range fighter. Which, oh, speaking of which, the fact that Todo is a close range fighter and Yuji's a close range fighter. Oh yeah, we need that. We need that fade set up immediately, right now, bro. And yeah, we need that. So I'm assuming once I think it's a festival they about to do next month with the all the schools going against each other. You already know Todo and Yuji about to square up and handle business. I need to see that ASAP. Now, the silver lining with Megami catching another L, there's a good thing about all this. We still gonna start that GoFundMe though. We still gonna have that going. But the silver lining in all this is that Megami wasn't going all out, and I think Megami figured out some new tricks with the shadow jujitsu that he has. Because remember when Sukuna criticized him for having a rare ability but not properly or creatively using it to its true potential, and Megami, I'm assuming after that, I forgot which episode where he was playing with the shadows under the concrete and stuff like that, he figured out something. And I think he's been practicing and he added it to his repertoire. And you could tell that he had something up his sleeve because he was about to unleash it, and Todo's expression changed. He was like, whoa, what is it? He felt Megami's intent. So he paused, he stopped, and he was like, yo, what is that? But then he got excited. And Todo looks like one of those guys that who's up for a challenge. So he felt like, yo, this kid hiding something, and I want to feel that. And I think that's dope. So I can't wait to see Megami actually pull that out and show what he's been working on with his shadow jujitsu. Because I think it's going to be like on some like game breaker NBA Street type deal. Then another dope moment, we saw my guy, I forgot his name. I just call him the recipe boy. You know, he talks with the rice ball recipe. And he has I guess the cursed tongue. We got to see his curse technique. And it seems, I think, whatever he says outside of the recipe, it actually happens. Because he actually spoke and said, don't move. And he made Todo freeze. And I thought that was very cool. And that's one character I want to see in a full battle and see all his capabilities. I definitely want to see his domain. Because, of course, his domain is going to be centered around sound or voice, stuff like that. So it got to be something creative with his domain. I can't wait to see that. Then we find out that Maki doesn't have any curse energy and can't use curse energy. And I think that's interesting because for her to even be attending that school, she has to be very formidable to compete and not have any curse energy. And it just shows you that skill can beat talent, you know what I'm saying? So you can be born with an ability, but if you don't have like the skill set to use the ability, then the talent is for nothing. And I think that's pretty dope on Maki's end because she has to actually do more than people who use cursed energy. So all her opponents most likely are going to have cursed energy, and she has to outthink them. She has to out strategize. And this is just me assuming without knowing her physical abilities. I don't know if she's like really strong. I don't know if she's has speed or like crazy agility or anything like that. But curse weaponry and battle intelligence, I think, is something that is, of course, in our arsenal. But she has to have the mindset and like the intelligence to make it formidable in a fight. It's kind of like that dude from Fire Force. I forgot the dude's name. I think it was like the captain or something, and he couldn't use fire techniques or something, but he was still very formidable because he had like physical gifts and things like that. But I thought that was pretty cool and a very cool moment that Nobara had with Maki, learning that, and then Nobara respecting Maki even more. I thought that was a pretty dope moment. But let's get to my favorite part of this episode, and with my favorite person of this episode. Gorgeous Gojo makes his return, and he comes to talk to the principal of the other jujitsu school that Todo and Mai is from, and who that same principal is one of the higher ups he was speaking about and talking about killing in the future. And Gorgeous Gojo comes in with big dick energy and treats this man like his son. I want to read a quote. I gotta read a quote. I got it in front of me. Hold up. Let me pull this up real quick. I'm gonna read this quote. Let's get right into the disrespect. I love disrespect, especially when somebody can back it up. That makes it even better. All right, here it is. Gorgeous Gojo said, and I quote, "I never had any intention of respecting you." He's different. Bruh, he came in that man's face, that old ass man's face. He said, look, I don't care about none of your piercings you got going on, any of that, bro. Like, it ain't doing nothing for me, and none of y'all can't do nothing with me. Gorgeous Gojo said, look, I am not respecting my elders today. You're annoying, you're not important, and all of you can get some of this infinity. I knew that they couldn't do nothing with Gorgeous Gojo, and they wasn't a threat to that man by the way Gojo was sitting in front of him. He was too comfortable. He looked very cozy. He knew this man is not a threat to him. Anybody that's able to slander you sitting with their legs crossed, yeah, they don't respect you and never will respect you, ever. Like, they need to stop playing with my boy, man. Like, for real. Like, Gorgeous Gojo really want the smoke. Old man, try to open up his eyes all, like, fierce and shit. Gojo didn't budge. He's like, look at this guy. This guy's washed. It's like, he's like, I've been waiting for one of y'all to jump stupid so I can smack you back down to reality and get rid of you. Why would you want to beef with Gojo? Why? It doesn't make sense. Have you seen this man's eyes? We just went over this last video. Did you see this man's eyes? This man could be out in the world modeling, making 7 figures modeling with those eyes. But instead, he's ripping heads off and he's talking disrespectfully to his elders. Nobody wants no smoke with that man. Even the higher ups bodyguard or escort or whatever she was smitten and couldn't believe that she was in presence of greatness, that she had to hide it. She had to hide her excitement because she knew. She's like, this is Gorgeous Gojo in front of me. And then proceeded to chase this man down for a selfie. She forgot her tea. Tea is so scrumptious and delicious. How can you forget tea? Oh, I know how. Gorgeous Gojo. That's how. But you gotta respect gangster Gorgeous Gojo steez, man. You gotta respect his wave. You know, he just walked in the room and put his nuts on the principal's forehead and laid down the law. Can't do nothing but respect that. And then towards the end of the episode, or the very end, we get another, we actually get a little time skip. So we skip a month ahead of time, and we see 3 teenagers. Their heads and skulls, whatever, same thing. They're caved in, crushed, warped, pulled apart. Very gruesome scene. And they just left in the movie theater. Could the man at least waited till the movie was over? I don't know. I love watching my movies uninterrupted. If you're gonna watch me and take me out, let me finish the movie first, and then take me out. But Yuji is back, and it seems like he's on this case. And this is interesting because it's not like the jail sequence where he doesn't know anything and he doesn't know about cursed energy. Last time we checked, he was actually moving faster than expected and controlling cursed energy. And I want to say that was after a couple of days. So I'm wondering what he's learned in a month's time. And I forgot who he had with him. He had somebody going with him to the movie theater also. So I want to see how much Yuji has learned and what he can do, which is going to be dope. And then we see the culprit who did it walking in the alley, and somebody else, another teenager, was able to see him since which is pretty remarkable since that guy's a curse, and he was shocked that the teenager could see him. So I'm wondering what that teenager is capable of and which side is he going to sway to. Is he going to be on the villain side or he's going to be on the hero side or whatever? We'll find out. But I like that. I like the pace and the route it's going, because now we get to get into Yuji, and then the school festival thing is coming up. So definitely can't wait for that. But yeah, that's pretty much episode 8, man. Episode 8 is pretty dope as usual. Jujutsu Kaisen, as far as I'm concerned, is batting 1,000. Hasn't been a bad episode yet. Pacing is still good. But what did y'all think of episode 8? Did you like it? Did you love it? Let me know down in the comments. Man, I am about to go eat a burrito. I'll drop a video tomorrow. Peace.